All right. So Anna's here too.
Cool. Let me just get Audacity going too.
How you doing?
Good, man.
Cool. All right. Should I let her in?
Yeah, let her in.
All right. Someone's knocking at the door.
I'm excited to talk about
Hi.
Your opinion of Woody Allen.
Oh, yeah, me too. Hi, Anna.
Anna.
Hi.
Wow, you got a nice field of cannabis right behind
Yeah,
you.
it's beautiful.
Thank you. This is actually our craft hemp side of things, but you know, it's all the same plant.
Same
I
plant.
like it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It
Thank
looks
you.
tasty.
Yeah,
Where is that picture from?
This is at our farm in Tequilma, Oregon, which is
Okay.
near Cave Junction. It's just
Okay.
above the California border.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I'm John. It's nice to meet you, Anna. We haven't met yet, but it's nice to meet you.
Hi, John.
I'm Len.
You know Len.
Hey,
Len.
so I just want to let you know that, like, this is totally conversational. It's totally loose. We're going to talk about like stuff that pops into my crazy head. What my ADD may kick in here and there, so we may go off in tangents. And then, so thank you.
All right, we are recording, and Len, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Everything is Personal.
Woo!
I thought we had like a theme song. All right. And as always, welcome my co-host, the lovely Mr. John Small.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
You got to give yourself an applause too.
Oh yeah, something that's more like magical.
It is magical.
I really should have saved that for our guests because it's more appropriate. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm just excited. We have a very special guest today. So Miss Anna, whose name rhymes with diamonds, Symonds, is here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A beautiful field of hemp behind you too, so I would commend you that. So before we get started, Bob from Iowa wants to understand what the hell is rugby and how do you even play that game, because people have no clue in the United States. So I just want to know, is there a really quick sort of cliff note version of what rugby is that you can explain to our audience?
Sure. Some people like to say that rugby is like chess at a full sprint. Others say that it's a bunch of weirdos playing with an oddly shaped ball, and they're both right.
And you play, I take it. We haven't even set that up yet. You are a rugby player?
I didn't set anything up. I was just curious.
You're just asking her a random question about rugby?
Yeah, just a random question
that's
about
cool.
rugby. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So I didn't do any introduction. I apologize. So Anna, the way from what I read about you and what I know about you, you are, or we met each other through Athletes for Care. I'm good friends with Evan Britton, who's and also Riley Cote, who are founding members of that. We also shared the stage. I think we spoke in a couple of different places. Maybe last one was in Portland. So I love your position on cannabis, how you talk about it as an athlete, as a female athlete. I think it's extremely important to be able to talk about that. And you played a pretty rough sport, which is rugby. That was a setup for it. So I'm sure there was a lot of aches and pains, and there's a lot of other meds and all that stuff. So your position on cannabis is really interesting. So I wanted to introduce you to our audience. I'm sure you can give a much better background than I just gave, but I just welcome to the show and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. This is fun. So I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have
getting
you.
to do this kind of show where it's just, chatting, conversational.
You are our first woman rugby player ever, for sure.
Wow.
We don't have any
I'm
more.
very honored.
We don't have any female rugby players. You sure?
Not yet. I feel like there's a line of them, but I wanted Anna to go
that's
first.
our very first one. You're right.
they're in the pipeline, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a big wave coming.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I've been playing rugby for 20 years. I started in college, switched over from being a soccer player my whole life. Once I found this sport where you were allowed to tackle people, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been missing out. So I was just
There are
fell
no
in love with it.
there are no red cards in rugby, right? They don't give you like a red and yellow
Oh,
card.
there are red cards. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you can get a red card. You can get a yellow card and a red card, but it's different for
Right.
different reasons than in soccer. And so yeah, I play in the Women's Premier League, which is the top 10 teams in the US. We have a team here in Portland, Oregon, and you know, coronavirus has put us on pause for now, but we're waiting to see what our reopening will look like.
So how long have you played?
20 years.
20 years, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I would imagine. So my introduction to rugby, when I was in India, the only thing on TV was cricket and rugby. And that's it. And there was like 400 channels of the same thing over and over. So I got that introduction. And when I lived in England, I had a little bit as well. And then I got fascinated by, and you can correct me if I'm making any mistakes, but I got fascinated by the All Blacks. And not just because of the game, because the ritual that they have right before the game. It's John, I don't know if you ever saw, like, it's the guys to line up.
New Zealand, right?
Zealand, yeah.
Yes.
I think there's a docu-series about them too, on one of the channels.
Saw something on HBO about them. Yeah, maybe with
Kind of
Real Sports or
fascinating.
yeah.
Like, by the time they're done with their ritual dance and all that stuff, you really don't want to play them because you're kind of intimidated.
It's intimidating.
Right?
For sure.
So I have that right. Do you guys have your own ritual dance that you do in the Women's Premier League?
Yeah, each team has their own kind of warm up chants and cheers. The haka, the Maori dance, you know, chant that you're talking about that New Zealand does is very specific to that culture. So it is, you know, wouldn't really be appropriate for us to do that particular thing, but we do have our own thing, you know, our ongoing, our own little chants and our little, you know, rituals as well. Pump ourselves up and then hopefully look scary to the other team.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
And intimidating. How do you I mean, why are you what drew you to being so into that kind of contact sport? You mentioned that soccer was, you know, something that was just not rough enough. Soccer was rough enough for me. Just let me put it that way. But I'm curious, what is about your interest in that kind of physical contact? Where did that come from, do you think?
You know, I'm not sure. I grew up in the country, and so like little town in the woods in New Hampshire, like 700-800 people. So I grew up playing in the woods, you know, playing sports with the boys, all that stuff. But I've just always liked aggressive sports. You know, I did MMA for a couple years as a side sport.
Wow.
Which was really fun, but I came to it really late. And, you know, by then I had so many injuries and couldn't really do both. But there's just something about, I think, especially for a woman athlete, being empowered to be aggressive, not just allowed, but being celebrated for the fact that, you know, if somebody wants to stop you, they have to stop you. You can run them over, you can stiff arm them, you can run around, you know, you can run around them. I mean, there's all these different options, but there isn't really that outlet for women in a lot of places.
Yeah.
In our society,
No,
you know, that very
sure.
physical, very primal outlet. And I just find it to be really thrilling.
Are there different positions that you would play where you engage more contact than others? So I used to work with in the South African company, and one of the guys there played for South Africa, and he would always show me his YouTube video of him scoring and running through everybody and over, like this was his claim to fame. And I was always asking, like, you're kind of a little guy, and I see these humongous dudes that are like trying to get you. So are you the one that's sort of the running back kind of thing? And then you have blockers that allow you to go, I only have